In a recent episode of the Open-Minded Thinker show, a former U.S. Marine Corps intelligence officer delivered an insightful analysis of the ongoing skirmishes between Iran and Israel. He asserted that Iran's objective was to re-establish a deterrent against Israel, cautioning them against further aggressive actions amidst escalating tensions in the region. Furthermore, he highlighted Iran's strategic intent to impress upon Israeli policymakers in Tel Aviv the reality of its military capabilities. In today's episode, the officer portrayed Iran's retaliatory actions as one of the most successful military deterrence operations in recent memory, particularly since Israel began testing the strategic patience of the Islamic Republic. Despite offering a damning assessment of the attack, he ominously predicted further Iranian assaults on Israel. The rationale behind his prediction remained unclear in the interview conducted on the YouTube show Moat, hosted by renowned British commentator and MP George Galloway. In a stunning revelation, Scott Ritter highlighted significant vulnerabilities in the joint US-Israeli missile defense system. According to him, the U.S. boasts an advanced ANTPY-2 X-band radar stationed at Har Keren, located in the Negev desert. This radar's primary mission is to detect Iranian missile launches and relay crucial targeting data to Israeli Arrow and David's Sling systems, as well as U.S. THAAD ABM batteries. These defense systems are strategically deployed to safeguard sensitive Israeli sites such as Dimona, Nevatim, and Ramon air bases.
Well, let's just point out the reality that Iran started its attack by launching the slowest, loudest weapons in its arsenal, the Shahed drones. And they did that because they were sending a signal to Israel, the United States, and everybody, we're attacking Israel. Now, if they were looking to carry out, a lethal attack, why announce it 5 hours in advance? Why give Israel a chance to withdraw its high-valued assets from bases that are vulnerable? Why give the United States, Great Britain, and France a chance to move resources up, ships, airplanes over Jordan to intercept these missiles? Iran was saying, here we come, shoot us down. And they did. They came out and they shot the drones down. Now, Iran launched tens of millions of dollars worth of drones. The United States and Israel spent billions of dollars shooting them down. This is a financial equation that's unsustainable, and that was one of the points that Iran was making, is you can't afford this kind of war. Then they sent in cruise missiles that, combined with the drones, defined the initial phase of the air defense reaction. Not only the air defense, the airplanes, but once they penetrated the airplanes, the Iron Dome started engaging. And they brought in missiles at a higher level so that the Arrow systems and the Patriots started to engage. And they defined the radar. They defined how Israel's locking in on the targets. And then they did three things. And this is where it gets iffy. I have to be honest, George, it's very early and there's incomplete information out there. But my understanding is that Iran used three types of ballistic missiles. One ballistic missile, it's a very clever missile. It uses a warhead that separates and then burst fires a bunch of decoys out there that appear to be specifically designed to absorb Iron Dome missiles. So remember, the Iron Dome is tracking a target. You fire these decoy bursts, and so the Iron Dome says, aha, we have now 25 targets, and they fire 25 interceptors. Meanwhile, smaller warheads, maneuverable, burst through those interceptors and go down and hit the Israeli air defense systems. And that appears to be the case. I was looking at some video where you see this taking place, the shotgun effect of these bomblets, the Iron Dome responding and then coming in, and they hit the air defense system. So they're showing the Israelis how we're going to take you out. The next thing that you see is they have these missiles coming in where you see the warhead separating from the missile body, and then there's a booster engine on the warhead that drives it down into the ground at high speed.
Do you want to know how I made my first $100,000 selling on Amazon, quit my teaching job, and move my family from the UK to Dubai? Well, check this out. Hey, I'm Jamal Muse, and I own an Amazon FBA business that generates thousands of dollars per day, as you can see here, and so on. But this ad isn't about me. I can talk about myself all day, but quite frankly, you probably don't care. The only one who's willing to listen to me blab all day is probably my mom. But this message isn't for her because thankfully, she doesn't have to work because of my Amazon FBA business. So I'm going to get straight to the point and tell you exactly what you need to do in the next 30 seconds. I've put together a free training where I show you all the things I've done and all the wrong things I've done so you can avoid these common pitfalls and become one of the top 10% Amazon FBA sellers that thrive. Just like how I helped Stephanie, just like how I helped Sarah, just like how I helped so many other people who are making more than $1,000 a day selling everyday products from home while they have a full-time job. They don't need any kind of special education. They don't need any kind of special training. They just need to understand and follow a proven path. And in this free training, I lay it all out for you. Honestly, totally free. I'm giving it all away because I want you to benefit. I want you to watch the free training, click on the link and get all my strategies to achieve your own goals. Copy and paste them. It's all yours for the taking. And if you want to go ahead and implement these cutting edge strategies on your road to fast track your road to success, leave your 9 to 5 and build your own dream life, then by all means, please go ahead. I hope you smash it and I hope you become a fantastic success story for everyone else around you. But if you want to work with me and my team directly, where we'll hold your hand throughout the whole process, guide, coach and mentor you every single step along the way, that opportunity is also available at the end of the free training, where you can schedule a call with me and my team. And on this free strategy call, we'll basically give you a personalized roadmap that you can use to build, launch and scale your own Amazon business. So listen, I've taken up enough of your time with this ad already. For goodness sake, click on the link, check out the free training, gain value, no fluff, action-packed, walk away with some extreme clarity so you can make this year a year to remember for you and your family. Click on the link and I'll see you on the inside. See you soon. Bye.
Speed, blowing away any radar intercept, any ability to intercept, hitting the target. And what this does is it clears the space. They clear air defense. And the final thing are these heavy warheads that come off of the heavy missiles that hit the runways and blew the big craters in them. This was a 3-layered ballistic missile attack that was specifically designed by the Iranians to destroy Israeli air defense, to clear the way, to take out air defense, and then to show that we can put the big warheads on the target anywhere in Israel we want to. And this was successful. And the beauty of this is they didn't use their best missiles. All three, with the exception, one of these missiles is rather new, but it's not the hypersonic missile. Israel didn't use their hypersonic missile. And Israel has lots of these missiles. This was just a single strike package. Iran has several strike packages just like this held in reserve that they have for Dimona, that they have for the Kiryat in Tel Aviv, that they have for other air bases. Iran can repeat this process all day long. And what they showed Israel is, this is what we can do. And I can guarantee you there's people like me right now who wear uniform or intelligence officers doing the exact same analysis they're doing, and they're writing big critical reports up the chain of command saying, stop all nonsense. We can't win this war. It's over, guys. Stop it. We have no defense here. If Iran wants to come in, we are powerless. This thing will escalate out of control. Make it stop now, which is why Joe Biden was on the phone with the G7 to intervene with Israel, why Joe Biden was on the phone with Netanyahu, and why Netanyahu's generals were telling him, stand down. We can't win this fight. This is a huge Iranian victory.
Yeah, we'll come to that latter point in a minute. But do you agree with me that, as George W. Bush might put it, they've all misunderestimated Iran all along?
Well, again, the military has it. I have to say that I've worked with Israeli intelligence, with their technical intelligence people, with the people who do the analysis and the assessments of missiles. These are smart people. And if I, sitting here thousands of miles away without any access to secret information, could have said I knew most of this going in before this happened. I knew what Iranian capabilities were. I can guarantee you they knew exactly what this was. But the problem is getting their voice heard by Israeli policymakers who are driven by emotion and by politics, domestic politics, etc. What this attack did is empower their voices, because now, whereas political leaders could say, well, you're just speculating, you don't know, that's just geeky intelligence stuff. Now they have the hard data. The photograph put on the table, the air defense guys saying, boss, we gave it our best shot. There was nothing we could do to stop them. The Americans calling up saying, there's nothing more we can do. We did everything. We can't stop this. And now the Israeli politicians are waking up to the harsh reality that the fiction that they have been living under is not even close to reality. It was a fantasy, and there's a real world out there, and it's a dangerous world, and they're going to have to change the way that they operate.
This is a spectacular assessment of the Iranian retaliation. He was trying to explain that despite the sophisticated technology at their disposal, Iranian missiles managed to strike both Nevatim and Ramon air bases, effectively bypassing the supposedly impenetrable defense network. Ritter's assessment underscores a stark reality. Even with the best surveillance radar and cutting-edge anti-missile defenses in place, the US-Israeli collaboration failed to protect the sites they were entrusted to defend. This revelation challenges the narrative of Israeli victory, spun by some following the recent events. The inability of the world's premier missile defense system to thwart Iranian attacks raises serious questions about the efficacy of current defense strategies and the extent of Iran's military capabilities. According to this assessment, Iran has delivered a stark message to Israel through its recent targeted strike, particularly on an Israeli airbase runway. The successful hit has sent shockwaves through Israeli defense circles, signaling Iran's capacity to disrupt crucial infrastructure and challenge Israel's strategic superiority in the region. The strike, meticulously aimed at disabling the runway, serves as a direct assertion of Iran's ability to neutralize key Israeli assets. While Israel may boast of its prowess in intercepting drones and other aerial threats, the Iranian missile's accuracy underscores a potent reminder that Iran possesses the means to inflict significant damage where it counts. The implications of this strike are deeply unsettling for Israel, as it highlights a vulnerability that traditional defense systems may struggle to counter. While Israel's defense capabilities have been focused on countering aerial threats, the targeted strike on the runway demonstrates Iran's strategic foresight in exploiting vulnerabilities beyond conventional warfare tactics.
So let's move on to what happens next, Scott, if you will. It's said, and you've just said it, the media is saying it, I believe it, that Biden...
Did you know it costs you only 5,499 dirhams to start your own business?
...has sought to dissuade. In what words and at what price, who knows, but sought to dissuade an Israeli response to Iran's response. For fear of this wider conflagration, for fear of a serious, 10 times more serious, Iranian response to any Israeli response. But the question is, can Netanyahu survive without responding? listening to Ben Gvir and others already this evening, it seems to me that Netanyahu would fall from power were he to go along with what Biden seems to be asking him to do.
There's a couple things that I think we're going to see. One, I think we're going to see Israel ratcheting up the pressure on Hezbollah. And now we're going to have to see, the skills of Hassan Nasrallah and his ability to manage this escalation ladder, which he's done so masterfully. But more pressure is going to be put on Hezbollah by Israel, and Iran is going to be pressuring Nasrallah not to allow it to blow up, not to allow it to, become the general war that Netanyahu so desperately needs. Two, I think Netanyahu is going to call in the head of Mossad and sit Ben Gvir down with him and say, we're going to double down on our covert war against Israel. A lot of people have forgotten, but there was a huge demonstration last year that became a civil war. I talked to senior Iranian officials about it, and they said this isn't demonstrations. This is a hybrid war run by the CIA and Israeli Mossad designed to bring Iran down from within, and it was a big problem. It was a big fight. The Iranians won, they prevailed, but I would see Israel encouraging Baluch nationalist movements to strike Iran and Zahedan. I would see them encouraging ISIS to strike inside Israel. I would encourage them to see the Kurds striking, the Mujahideen al-Khalq striking, all these external forces that the CIA, the British, and Israeli intelligence have been propping up for years. I think you're going to see the Israelis saying, you need to double down on this stuff. We need to put the pressure on Iran because we can't be seen as doing nothing. We have to be seen as doing something. And this, again, will test the limits of Iran's deterrent policy. At what point in time will Iran expand it to say that hybrid attacks using a proxy qualifies as the same as a direct attack, and our deterrence will kick in as well. We dodged a bullet, but we're not out of the firefight yet. There's going to be a lot of pressure put on down the road. The good news is Iran doesn't want to fight. They're not cowards. They prove that they will fight if need be. But Iran's focus is on the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It's on BRICS. It's on normalization of relations with Saudi Arabia. It's on economic prosperity. And a war with Israel will disrupt all of this. So the good news is there's a lot of patience built into Iran's foreign policy, a lot of flexibility. And that's necessary at this point in time because Iran has to understand that Israel has to do something for internal politics. And you either want a war or you don't. If you don't want a war, you're going to have to grit your teeth and bear it as Israel uses proxy forces to put pressure on Iran to punish Iran. Iran will have to absorb these attacks. But the other good news is Israel's losing the bigger war. Remember, the other thing Iran doesn't want to do is distract attention away from the fact that Hamas is winning, that Hamas has turned global opinion against Israel, that the world is now talking about a Palestinian state in ways that they had never done before. A larger war between Israel and Iran, distracts people from that goal, and Iran doesn't want that. Iran understands that the axis of resistance, together with Hamas, was in the process of strategically defeating Israel, and that's the fight they want to fight. So I think Iran will be willing to absorb blows from Israeli proxies in order to stay focused on the strategic victory that they're handling and not fall victim to the kind of, petty human narcissism that Israel falls victim to, where they say, we've been slighted, we have to do massive revenge. Iran has shown itself to be a very patient, very resilient, very mature nation state when it comes to this sort of activity.
Finally, Scott, and I'm grateful for your time as always, the English-speaking king of Jordan, who, when he took the throne, literally could not speak Arabic and now speaks it with a rather splendid English accent. He was the only Arab leader, if we can call him an Arab, call him a leader, who collaborated with Israel and the United States last night. Even their much more important and longer standing allies declined the opportunity to do that. Why did King Abdullah do that? Has he not placed himself in very severe difficulty now with his own population, which is overwhelmingly opposed to Israel, overwhelmingly in support of the Palestinians in Gaza? What on earth forced King Abdullah to do that?
Well, I call him the least Arab leader in the Arab world. As you pointed out, he, his roots, his ideology, his mindset is very British. It's not it's not of the Arab street. He is so far removed from the reality of his people, and he is so dependent upon Israel. And I put Israel first, then the United States and Europe for his continued viability as a leader. His betrayal of the Palestinian cause is apparent to all, and now his betrayal of the Arab world and indeed the Muslim world is on display likewise. He knows he's in a lot of trouble. The most dangerous thing in the world for the Hashemite king of Jordan is happening, and that is that the Palestinian people have a pathway to statehood. And a Palestinian state is perhaps the greatest threat to this artificial entity called the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, because he's not a Jordanian. He is a Saudi Arabian transplant. And I believe he may be the last Hashemite king of Jordan. That I don't wish upon him the fate of the last Hashemite king of Iraq, but I do believe that it's time for the king of Jordan to take his family and his retinue and fly off to London and live where he belongs among the British people he so adores, because he is reviled and hated amongst his own people and now amongst the entire Arab and Muslim world. He is a betrayer of the cause of the people of Palestine.
So, World War III or not, Scott, can we sleep in our beds tonight with some confidence that the world will still be here when we wake up in the morning?
I'd say in the short term, as long as Ben Gurion Airport is open and flights are coming in and out, go to bed, sleep well. If Ben Gurion shuts down, then we need to start worrying about in what direction this is going, because the Iranians aren't playing around anymore. And if Ben Gurion shuts down, it means the Israelis aren't taking no as an answer from the United States, and this thing could go in any direction. But for the moment, Ben Gurion's open, people are flying in and out. I'd say you can sleep well tonight.
This development is likely to fuel apprehension within